Have you ever had that peculiar feeling? That moment when you wake up and sense a strange disconnection from the chaos awaiting you. It's not laziness or depression. It's a weariness that doesn't come from the body but from seeing through the elaborate game that most of humanity continues to play with utmost seriousness. If you feel a silent recognition awakening now, you know what I'm talking about. You are one of those souls who woke up in the middle of a collective dream and now must take part in a play while seeing the stage and the machinery that keep the illusion alive. I remember a woman, Anna. She experienced a spiritual awakening after a near-death experience. Before that, she was absorbed in her career, in accumulating wealth and social status. But after her experience, something changed. She could no longer pretend that the corporate climb was anything more than an artificial construct. Slowly, a deep fatigue began to envelop her spirit, not because she lacked energy, but because she saw too clearly what others could not. This phenomenon is not uncommon among those who have undergone a spiritual awakening. There comes a point when your consciousness expands beyond the narratives and society conditioned you to accept, and you find yourself in a world operating by principles you can no longer take seriously. It's like being the only sober person at a party where everyone else is drunk. At first, it may seem amusing to watch the play unfold, but later, it becomes difficult to engage with people trapped in states of consciousness you've transcended. You try to participate in conversations about products, politics, celebrities, but these topics feel trivial compared to the existential questions occupying your mind. You try to express your deeper insights, only to be met with blank stares or concern that you're losing touch with reality. Yet what they call reality, you recognize as merely a level of perception, a layer of existence's fabric, and that recognition breeds a sense of alienation that contributes to your spiritual fatigue. Consider the modern world. We have created a society that feeds the senses while starving the soul. Everywhere you turn, there are distractions designed to keep you looking outward, to keep you consuming, to make you believe happiness lies in the next purchase, the next relationship, the next achievement. The entire machinery of capitalism depends on maintaining this illusion. If everyone realized that true fulfillment can only be found within that, the treasure they've been seeking outside has always been inside them, the entire economic system would collapse. So there is an immense interest in keeping humanity asleep, promoting materialism, medicating dissatisfaction, pathologizing the discontent that could lead to awakening. When you see this mechanism clearly, is it any wonder your soul feels tired? Then there's the pace of modern life, the incessant noise, the constant connectivity, the endless flow of information. For the spiritually awakened, this environment is particularly exhausting because your sensitivity has been heightened. You become more permeable to energies, more attuned to emotional states around you, more aware of the vibrations others unconsciously emit. Walking through a crowded mall becomes an exercise in psychic overload. You absorb the anxiety, the desire, the confusion, the hostility that permeate those spaces. What others automatically filter, you perceive vividly. It's like developing a supernatural sense of smell and then being thrown into a landfill. The world's noise becomes deafening not because it got louder, but because you can now hear what was once beyond your range of perception. I want to pause here and ask directly, how deeply do you resonate with what I have shared so far? Have you been feeling increasingly tired of engaging in conversations and activities that once fully involved you? Do you sometimes feel as if you're wearing a mask just to fit into social situations that now seem shallow? If this touches something true within you, I invite you to share your experience in the comments below. You can simply write, "I am spiritually awakened and tired of this world because." Your comment might be exactly what another awakened soul needs to read today to know they are not alone. That there's nothing wrong with feeling out of alignment with a society built on values that no longer resonate with your deepest truth. Sometimes the greatest gift we can offer one another is the simple acknowledgement that our experience is understood. And believe me, as I read each comment, I am truly listening. There is something else that contributes to this spiritual fatigue. When you begin to awaken, when you start to see beyond the veil of conventional reality, you also begin to perceive the immense suffering permeating human existence. Not just the obvious pain reported in the news, but the silent despair behind smiling faces, the existential emptiness masked by constant activity, the spiritual hunger disguised by material abundance. You realize that much of humanity lives in a state of unconscious suffering, constantly running from their true nature, seeking outside what can only be found within. This recognition brings a deep compassion that can sometimes feel overwhelming. You want to wake people up, show them the source of their suffering, guide them toward the liberation you've glimpsed. But soon, you discover that people awaken only when they are ready, that consciousness cannot be forced, that each soul must walk its own path in its own time. This realization leads to a special kind of helplessness, a painful awareness of the limits of your ability to ease the suffering you now see so clearly. And yet, there is a paradox within this spiritual fatigue. For while the awakened soul grows weary of the world's illusions, it simultaneously discovers a source of energy flowing from a deeper origin. This is the paradox of spiritual awakening. As your interest in superficial aspects of human existence diminishes, your connection to the eternal, the infinite, the transcendent grows stronger. You feel increasingly drawn to silence, solitude, simplicity, not from misanthropy, but because these conditions allow you to maintain your connection with the deeper reality you have glimpsed. You begin to realize that while your humanity may feel exhausted by the world, your essential nature, your true self, remains untouched by that fatigue. It's as if two aspects of your being operate simultaneously: the human personality that must still function in society and feels the strain of doing so, and the timeless awareness that watches it all with equanimity and compassion. I once met a man, a successful musician, who experienced a profound awakening. When he returned to his former life, he found he could no longer derive satisfaction from fans' admiration, glowing reviews, or commercial success. The external validation that once fueled his identity now felt empty. His team noticed his withdrawal, his fading enthusiasm. They interpreted his transformation as depression, a creative block, a midlife crisis. They suggested therapy, medication, vacations. But none of that addressed the fundamental shift in consciousness that had occurred. He wasn't depressed, he had simply seen through the emptiness of fame and external validation. He wasn't having a midlife crisis, he was having a midlife awakening. Yet in a society with no framework for understanding spiritual evolution, his awakening was pathologized, treated as a problem to fix rather than a development to honor. This points to another source of the awakened soul's fatigue: the lack of social recognition and support for the spiritual journey. In traditional cultures, there were established paths for spiritual development: Elders could recognize the signs of awakening and guide the soul through the process. There were rituals to mark shifts in consciousness. Communities understood and valued the wisdom that comes from inner exploration. But in our modern, secular, materialistic culture, the spiritual journey is often undertaken alone without maps, guides, or communal validation. The awakened individual is left to make sense of their experience in isolation, often doubting their own sanity, questioning whether what they've glimpsed is even real. This lack of cultural support adds to the awakened soul's burden, contributing to its fatigue and alienation. So, how does the awakened soul navigate this challenge? How do you live in a world misaligned with your values without succumbing to chronic fatigue or cynicism? The first step is radical acceptance. You must accept that the world is as it is, that humanity is at the evolutionary stage. It's in that you cannot single-handedly accelerate collective awakening. This acceptance is not resignation. It is a clear-eyed acknowledgement of what is free from the energy-draining resistance that comes from wishing things were different. When you truly accept the world as it is, including its suffering and limitations, you paradoxically release vast amounts of energy previously consumed by unconscious resistance. This doesn't mean you approve of everything. It simply means you stop fighting reality. Stop being perpetually disappointed that the world doesn't match your awakened vision. The second step involves discernment in how you direct your energy. The awakened soul recognizes that energy is precious and finite, that not every situation deserves your full engagement, that sometimes the wisest response is to conserve your resources. This isn't selfishness. It's necessary if you wish to serve the world from your awakened perspective. You learn to distinguish between situations where your presence can truly help and those where it would be wasted. You develop a refined attunement to where and how you can make a genuine contribution versus where you'd only drain yourself without meaningful impact. This discernment allows you to participate in the world more selectively, engaging deeply where it matters, withdrawing without guilt where it doesn't align with your soul's purpose. I'm reminded of the Eastern concept of the Bodhisattva path. In Buddhist teaching, a bodhisattva is one who has reached a high degree of enlightenment but chooses to remain engaged with the world of suffering rather than retreat into transcendent bliss. The bodhisattva vows to work for the liberation of all beings before accepting final liberation for themselves. Crucially, however, the bodhisattva does this work from a place of non-attachment, without expectation of specific results, without being drained by the enormity of suffering, without losing connection to the deeper reality that transcends all temporary conditions. They maintain what might be called engaged detachment, a paradoxical state of being fully present to the world's pain while rooted in the peace that surpasses understanding. This is the subtle art the awakened soul must master: to be in the world but not of it, to care deeply without being overwhelmed, to work for change without attachment to outcomes. There is also immense value in periods of withdrawal and solitude. The awakened soul needs regular intervals away from the noise and demands of society to replenish energy, deepen connection to the source, and integrate evolving understanding. This is not escapism. It's a necessary rhythm of spiritual life, an alternation between engagement and withdrawal. Just as your body needs rest to recover from physical exertion, your soul needs silence to recover from the psychic strain of navigating dense social environments. These retreats can be as simple as a daily meditation practice a weekly digital detox, or a day in nature. The key is consistency, establishing a rhythm that honors your need for communion with the deeper dimensions of reality that nourish your awakened consciousness. And finally, there is the practice of finding joy and beauty amid all conditions. The awakened soul develops the ability to perceive the sacred within the ordinary, to experience awe in the mundane, to touch the infinite in a single moment of full presence. This ability doesn't depend on external circumstances. It arises from the quality of your attention, from your willingness to be fully present with whatever is arising without judgment. Even in the most challenging environments, there are moments of grace, glimpses of beauty, opportunities for connection that can nourish your soul if you are attentive. The practice is to notice these moments, to let them touch you deeply, to let them remind you of the deeper reality always present beneath the surface of ordinary experience. This is not spiritual bypassing. It's not denial of real suffering in the world. It's simply remembering that reality is multidimensional, that alongside every pain, there is also beauty. And your ability to perceive and appreciate that beauty is itself a gift you can offer to a world in need of awakened perception. I remember sitting with a spiritual teacher discussing the challenges of maintaining awakened consciousness in the modern world. I expressed my concern about global problems, relentless materialism, and the difficulty of making a difference. He said, "You are not responsible for the evolution of human consciousness. You are only responsible for the quality of your presence in each moment, for the truth you embody, for the love you express within your sphere of influence. Don't carry the weight of the whole world. It was never yours to carry." Those words freed something within me, released a burden I had taken on, reminded me that spiritual awakening isn't about saving the world through heroic effort, but about being fully present to it with compassion and wisdom. So yes, the spiritually awakened soul grows tired of this world, of its noise and distraction, its superficial pursuits and unconscious suffering. This fatigue is real, and it serves a purpose in consciousness's evolution. But fatigue is not the final word, it's not the destination of the spiritual journey. Beyond the fatigue lies a deeper source of energy not dependent on external conditions, a joy not contingent upon circumstances, a peace that truly surpasses understanding. As you continue awakening, learning to navigate the challenges of being a conscious presence in an unconscious world, you discover that it's possible to stay engaged without depletion, to care deeply without being overwhelmed, to serve effectively without exhaustion. You learn to draw sustenance from the source that never runs dry, to find renewal in communion with the depths of being that are your true nature. And gradually, the very world that once seemed designed to drain your spiritual sensitivity becomes the perfect environment for the continued refinement of your consciousness. The ideal context for expressing your awakened nature, the friction that polishes the jewel of your realization until it shines with a light that illuminates rather than exhausts. If these words resonated deeply within you, if something in your soul recognized your own journey in what I've shared, then you already know you are not alone on this path of awakening in a world often designed to keep consciousness asleep. This channel exists for souls like yours, for those who have glimpsed beyond the veil of conventional reality and now find themselves navigating the territory of being awake in a sleeping world. Each week, I share reflections to illuminate your path, offer clarity when confusion arises, and provide perspectives that can help transform your spiritual sensitivity from a burden into a gift. Subscribe now and join a community of awakened souls, learning together how to walk this world with open eyes, integrated hearts, and liberated spirits. Allow yourself to receive these weekly teachings as a sanctuary for your awakened awareness. Tap the subscribe button, activate the notification bell, and begin today the journey of honoring your unique perception without being drained by it. True freedom awaits.